Angela Crawley.
Madam Deputy Speaker, the cost of living crisis is far from over, and this budget sadly offers very little to the people in Lanark and Hamilton East. Energy bills remain high, mortgage rates remain high, child poverty remains high. So if this is the best that the Chancellor can offer during a financial crisis of his own government's making, it demonstrates how perfectly out of touch Westminster is with the needs of Scotland. Now, the Chancellor spoke of ramping up welfare conditionality. This will only force more people into insecure work, offering no stability or future planning, and is not enough to lift them out of poverty. The reality is that it has resulted in a series of punitive sanctions to administrative earning thresholds on universal credit. Does the Chancellor really believe that the solution will bring about growth to hammer down on sanctions? Madam Deputy Speaker, the gender pay gap is still very much apparent, and this budget will do nothing to address it. I fear that women are bearing the brunt of the cost of living crisis, and this is fundamentally unacceptable in 2023. Calls to reintroduce gender pay gap reporting to include ethnicity and disability pay gap reporting have all but been ignored. So can the Chancellor really claim that this will achieve the economic growth and be truly inclusive, as the Conservative government appears to believe it will? While a welcome increase to national minimum wage, it's not a real living wage. It will not be enough to cover the cost of living, and it will not be enough to lift people out of poverty. It will not be enough to give people financial freedom to meaningfully contribute to the economy. When will the Chancellor listen to the overwhelming calls from stakeholders to completely commit to fully implementing a real living wage? Now, on childcare, that is one policy I will welcome. However, we all accept and understand that good quality, well-funded childcare is imperative to drive the economy, to get women, to get parents back into work, to ensure that those who are in work stay in work, to tackle things like pregnancy and maternity discrimination, to tackle the bias against women who are within the workplace, who are assumed to assume the brunt of childcare. But this is simply not good enough. And it enables parents, particularly mothers, to contribute to the economy, which I recognise, but lip service to childcare is not good enough. This could be a truly transformative policy. It could achieve real economic change. It could reduce discrimination, reduce in-work disparity. It could level the playing field, the gender pay gap. But this policy does not go far enough, and I hope they will consider that it's a great policy. Let's drive it further. On the final point of this government's record in the last 13 years, this government's dogmatic commitment to Brexit has cut Scotland off from the largest international trading partner. It's cut us off from access to the EU labour force, and businesses in Scotland can no longer afford the labour shortages that they've been hit with in the last 12 months. Now, the reality, Madam Deputy Speaker, is that the cost of living crisis is not over. And I am calling on this government to listen to the SNP, to accept the Migration Advisory Committee's recommendations for a rural visa pilot, and to allow those who want to come here to work and to contribute to our economy to do so. The reality is this budget has only further deepened the isolation that people feel. It's pushed low-income households into further poverty, created hardship for those in well-paying jobs, and forced people to sacrifice their basic needs to stay afloat. It's exacerbated the mental health crisis and pushed businesses to the brink of collapse. It's encouraged people into debt and forced pensioners to turn their heating and electricity off in the depth of winters. I know that there is a reality for many of my constituents across Hamilton East and across the UK